Good afternoon, followers. Hey, it's Kendra Cook here at the headquarters. I am super excited today to be interviewing my mentor, my coach, and one of my very, very best friends, Miss Reeta Casey today. Welcome, Miss Reeta.
Well, thank you, Kendra. It's a pleasure to be here with you and everybody else.
Well, we were supposed to do this live and we had a mishap. So we are doing it Zoom. I wish you were sitting in my lovely office, but you're not. So we are going to do it this way, but same nuggets, just different locations. So you guys, I'm excited about what you're going to learn about today, because some of you that are newer to the core, whether in level 1 or 2, or maybe just a newer student, may not understand Reeta's role. And so this is our Women in Business series that we've been doing for the last 6 months. And it is the women behind the man, which is Rick Ruby, right? And so this woman right here has been here longer than the rest of us that we have all been interviewed and talked about. And so Reeta and Rick have been partners since the inception of the core training. So Reeta was one of Rick's real estate partners. And lo and behold, some of you ask me all the time, like, how did you stay with him as long as you have? Well, that's questions we're going to ask this woman today, because she's been here the longest. So Reeta, my first question, 21 plus years ago, Rick said, hey, come be my partner. What made you say yes?
Oh, well, I had met Rick at another coaching company, and so we had a chance to kind of work together a little bit, be on stage together. And when he told me his vision, I was extremely excited, because back then they kept talking about how you have to run your business like a business, but we didn't have any tools for that. And so Rick had this fantastic vision of, this is what we need to help people go to the next level, something elite. And he asked me to be a partner. And I can remember when he asked me, and I had all these mixed emotions. I was like, I'm so excited. I knew that it would explode my business, but it would also change my life. So I was excited. And then it's like you say, yes, Kendra, and then you go, oh my gosh, what did I do? This is going to be really hard. This is Rick. So I knew the journey would be very challenging, but I'd had great mentors before, and I knew this was the way to go. So I said yes, and we haven't killed each other, and 21 years together in the core, and my life has certainly changed because of him. So
that's awesome. Very good. So sometimes you got to take a leap of faith, is kind of what I heard there, because you're like, the little devil over here saying, no, you don't. And the little angel over here saying, yes, you do. So those of you that are out there thinking, maybe I should make the big call, or I should ask the big ask, you just heard, sometimes you just got to do it. You just got to jump in, and you'll figure it out as you go. So that brings me to my next question. Has there been a error or a mistake or a decision that you guys made along the way that might help our listeners today in their businesses? Because I'm sure it's not been flawless and perfect from the get-go. So anything you can recall that you could share with all of us today?
Well, I think one thing I want to share with you, which was while I had the core and I was running my business, I wound up selling my personal real estate business to a local billionaire, and selling them on the idea they should have a boutique luxury real estate company. Well, wow, that was in 2006. So by 2007, as we all know, that was probably not a very good idea. It was very hard to focus on a market that had fallen apart. So then we had to spin it and change it. So for all students out there or people in business, you always need to have a diversity of price ranges that will survive any market. Do not just depend on one, as you're also probably going to find out right now. So that was probably the biggest thing that I would say along the way while doing this, because, when we had our original 4 partners, I mean, the whole deal was you had to keep your numbers up or you could not coach. So here I am, not just a coach, but a partner at the core. And here I am having to immediately spin my head and figure out how to change this new real estate company after I sold it. So they're not only profitable, obviously a billionaire does not want to lose money, along with keeping what I had at the core. So for everybody out there, make sure you stay diversified in what you do in your business so that you can survive all the markets.
Oh, I learned the exact same lesson in 2007-8. I was not diversified. I was all in new construction. So we've got some stories to tell about those years in our careers, right? Okay, so my next question for you is, I know that currently Rick is the obviously CEO, founder of the core, but all of his leadership team are female. And that's kind of why we did this series, because a lot of people say, oh, lending's a man's world, or the core is very heavy in the male generation. And the truth of the matter is, it's not. Rick has surrounded himself by pretty strong, powerful women. And I think we're all born with strengths or gifts. And all of us in leadership bring something to the table. So I would love to know what you think your secret power or your strength is that you brought to the leadership team and continue to bring to us 21 years later.
Well, let me just say too, in the beginning, Rick made sure there was balance and it wasn't all about him. So there were 2 lender partners who were male and 2 realtor partners who were female. So he's always had that in terms of balance. And it's funny, if you personality tested us, Rick and I tested more alike, and then Kathy and Todd tested alike. So it's kind of crazy, but having the 4, and look at Rick today, he's done the same thing. But what's happened is, it not necessarily on purpose, but what you find that the women have been very committed to what they're doing, the passion of his vision. I would say for me, bringing motivation and inspiration. My business was quite different. Kathy's business, when we started it, was all about units. Mine was all about catering to clients and really working in stepping out of my comfort zone. So what I like to bring to the table is to inspire people to not think about, let their fear hold them back for what they can't do, but to go for what is possible. Don't think about it, go for it. And by doing that, I was able to make calls that got us into the Orlando Magic, which they still have the contract 21 years later. The relationships we built, so I would say from, motivating, inspiring, and relationships, that balance for Rick, I'm a little more, I don't want to say the earth lady or whatever, but I'm sort of a balance for him and his personality. And even today, still asks me, for input and opinions. And I run charity, which is a perfect transition for me as to my strengths of inspiring others.
I love that. And yes, she is my mentor and my coach and my BFF, but more importantly, she's super selfless, constantly giving of herself, whether it's through charities, writing the check, volunteering, finding these charities, pouring her heart into it. So if you've been to a summit event, you know that we love to give back to the community in which we go to do the summit. And that is all headed up and led by Reeta. So when people say, oh my gosh, the charity was the best ever, that's thanks to her hard work and effort. And a lot of people are like, oh, you just pick a charity. No, she doesn't. She gets charities thrown at her all the time. And she spends countless hours putting the presentation together, researching it, making sure the money's going to the right place. But in addition to that, she's a great friend. You can give her any information, it stays confident. She's a wonderful problem solver. She talks a lot of truth into my life and to others' life. When we get in the chaos, she's always the one that says, okay, let's slow down. Let's read this passage. Let's figure this out. And so all of us need that calming confidant in our life that says, hey, we will get through this. So if I don't publicly thank you enough, I'm saying it again today. Thank you for being that rock for me. I know she only weighs 90 pounds, but she's a 10-ton magnet in my life that I'm completely drawn to and has changed my life and continues to change it every day. And I would not be where I am without you. So thank you for that. So my next, I kind of touched on this in the last little blurb about people saying it's lender heavy, or, I don't want to learn from a realtor because I'm a lender. I don't want to learn from a lender because I'm a realtor. And the one thing that I remind everybody is we focus on 3 things here. It's lead gen and lead conversion, period. Without leads, we can't pay anything, our bills, our team, we can't grow, we can't accumulate wealth. So number 1 is lead gen, lead conversion. Number 2, it's build the team, who to hire, when to hire, how to train them, how to delegate to them, anything around the team to leverage those extra hands so we can go back and do our number 1 job, right? And then the third piece is count the money, wealth accumulation, which we have way more focus on building wealth than we used to. It used to be definitely counting the money, so the P&L and making sure we were saving 20%. But a lot of our students have moved into a whole new arena as far as wealth accumulation. And so that's another focus now that we really have about the money. But when people say that to you, Reeta, that your lender heavy or your realtor heavy, I can't go to that realtor class. what would you say to them about that? Because I know that we'll have a dynamic group listen to this and very diverse. What would you tell them?
Well, as a coach, what I will tell you is it is your fear talking and it's just an excuse, period. You give it any more energy, you will never move forward. Because you can take what the core teaches, the systems and structure for all the things Kendra talked about, you can apply them to any business. Right. And when people approach it that way, it's a mindset, again, where they're looking for why something's not working, versus if they sit there and open-mindedly listen to whoever's presented, whether it's a lender or a realtor or Rick or whoever, they can take that nugget and go, wow, now I got to figure out how I'm going to use it in my business, instead of, oh, this won't work. As soon as you say won't or can't or anything like that, then your mind shuts down. If you say, I am going to apply this because it will blow up my business, your mind will figure it out. So for all of you, I may have this kind, sweet face, but get over it, because you are lying to yourself and it's just an excuse and it's fear. And we all have it, just like when Rick asked me to join the core. But if you want a better life and business, you got to walk through it and move forward.
Oh, so true. So true. So my last question before the last question, my next to last question, if you will, is we are hearing everything on the news right now: shifting market, collapse in the market, recession, a large percentage of realtors and lenders getting out of the business. You've been in real estate over 30 years, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this is not the first recession, slight edge, change, diversity, shift, whatever word, pivot, whatever word you want to hear, right? This is not your first rodeo. No. So tell us one thing, one or two things that work in no matter what market we're in. No matter what market we're in, it's great you still do this. When it's bad, we're still doing this. Can you give us one or two nuggets that happen to work for you in every market you've been in over the last 30 plus years?
Okay. Two things, actually. Can't do one, got two. All right. First of all, you've got to keep working your blue beast. If you don't do anything else but those forms, which take you through prospecting and meeting people, this is actually a huge opportunity, just like it was when I sold the business based on selling $1 million homes. And it was like, well, you know what? We will sell homes that are $1 million, but we will sell all their family, friends, and everybody they know. So, there's always a way to take advantage of it. So this is a huge opportunity. When a lot of fear takes people over, they get out. You can go into this by just doing the basic things. Make sure you're prospecting and meeting people and look for opportunities. There are businesses out there that are growing. Healthcare is growing. There's different types of industries in your area that are growing. Keep looking for those and step out of your comfort zone and call on those people and find items of value. Don't you think everybody would love to have a lunch and learn to know what's going on in the market? I mean, we're all inundated going, there's so much information and most people are not paying attention to the details we are. So you can find opportunity within this market. But again, it's that mindset of what can I do that is going to work? Who can I call on because I'm seeing this business grow? And don't let the negativity, you just got to block it out. So the great thing about doing the forms too and the beast is that it tells you your numbers, where you are. If I do these actions, I get this result. Don't like them. Okay, what in here is not going according to the goal? And then you don't have to have fear around it. You just have to take the action to do it. So this is a time when you got to stand strong, take care of yourself, get your mental fortitude, and just move forward. Go out, prospect, and meet people, because that lead generation is the one thing most people do not want to do. And in a market like this, they're even going to be more fearful. And the more sources you have, like we started relocation accounts, calling on corporate businesses. I mean, I interviewed against Syndant, a huge moving company, for a hospital account. I'm like, if I thought about it too long, I'd be like, how am I going to do that? So you find ways to do things when you are passionate and you love what you do.
Exactly. So what I heard was never stop prospecting. It doesn't matter what the market is. Maybe we call on different people, but I think that when we talk about fear, it either propels you or it paralyzes you. We have all heard that before. But the truth of the matter is, prospecting, we have to prospect no matter what. So when the market's really good, we're just following up on the leads that are falling in our
They're
lap.
not
Now
coming
that
to
the
you.
market is changing, you're going to have to go put a little effort in. One of my guys said today, we got to go back to that really hard 4-letter word. Get ready. It's sales. You got to go back to selling.
Exactly right.
And so we have been so spoiled rotten. I call myself a spoiled rotten American a lot because we are so spoiled that it's been so good for so long, and we haven't really had to sell. We've just had to be in relationship. So guess what? Now those relationships have to turn into more selling. So I think that's exactly what I would have said. Like, you can never take your eye off of the outbound calls, the prospecting, the being proactive. I'm always so shocked when I get people or interview them to come to the corner. I'm like, how do you prospect for business? Oh, it just comes to me. It's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You are going to have to make calls. You are going to have to go meet people. You are going to have to put in some effort because it's not always going to be great. It's sales, right? So you get the choice. Okay, so I said I had one more question, but I actually have two. So if one of the things that you know and about me, I don't know if you love it about me or not, but you know about me is I read books. You can see this list of this big thing of books.
Yes,
I have books everywhere.
I'm working on it.
I'm a book junkie, and I love to take someone else's objections or obstacles and see how they overcame it and how I can put that into my business. So right now, my sales team is down. For the last several months, we've been up. And so I run our level 1 sales division for Rick. And one of my biggest frustrations is I've kind of taken myself out of sales, and I've been teaching the team how to sell and how to cater to our clients and how to coach. And now that the numbers are down, I find myself going back to saying, to heck with it, I'll just do all the selling. I'll sell it myself, which I love sales. So it's not a big problem. But one of the things that I've learned about through reading books for years and years is you got to be really careful about the message that you put out, or, hey, I trust you, I empower you, but then I go back and I take the sales back away from them. They're like, oh, she doesn't trust me. So that's a big lesson I've taken out of a book many years. And there's tons of lessons. But my question for you, is there any book or books that you go to for learning to overcome objections or sales skills or just life lessons or being proactive or anything, any books, ideas? Because, you know, I'm always looking for my next book.
Well, I did a book I read a while back was Excuses to Be Gone. And that's with Wayne Dyer. Now I went through quite a long spiritual journey when I had cancer. And so I also work on just the general mindset. And so that's one thing I read that I really love, besides a lot of our business books we've read as a group. I think all this goes back to, it's like we talked about before with sales. If you like calling the magic, okay, I'm like, I really want to meet Chuck Daly, so I'm going to make a call. But then if I sat there and studied it, I'd be like, oh, I'd be so embarrassed. Oh, they're not going to do it. Why am I bother calling? And I never make the call, instead of just going, oh my God, what am I going to lose, right? Sometimes just going for it. And I think, like, for your sales team, those young mindsets are forming. So it's really helping them get past and take those away and just realize that there is a possibility. They can do this. They've got to think bigger about that and not let that shut them down. I think, listen, if they just listen to you, do some of your sales calls, and then have them identify one or two things that they found engaging and that they could use, maybe that's a good way to help it, because you are just naturally, you have the confidence to face any situation, coach any student through anything. And that's what they're learning in their years, to do that. But tell them it's okay, even if they fail, but they've got to come out of that failure with a lesson, and they can't repeat that failure. So they got to keep moving forward on that. And just, I think maybe having you share that with them, but also reading some books that just help them with their personal growth. So that's one they could do.
Wow, that is a nugget for everybody, right? Just listening. If you're a lender or realtor watching this, somebody that, whether it's your coach or somebody you admire, even if it's in a different industry, have them record or go listen to them make a sales call and figure out what you like about their sales style. You guys have so many audios and videos at your fingertips on the member website that you can go listen to different audios, whether it's about leadership or sales skills or time management, from people who are very confident in doing what we do. And that's the greatest thing about the core is we're not telling you what we did 20 years ago. We're telling you what we do right now. So if you are looking to blow your business up, or you're not blowing your business up and you're already with us, it's because you've limited your mindset or your belief system that I can't make that big call, or I don't know how to do it, or the fear is paralyzing you. So I think that is a huge nugget that Reeta just put out there, that listen, go emulate somebody else that you admire. I mean, people who want to be famous basketball players, don't they follow the Currys and the Kobes and the Jordans of the world? Well, do the same thing in sales. You know, who's a salesperson that you admire and that you would like to be like, and go follow that person and learn from them. So I think that is a huge tool. All right, so we're winding down our last 20-minute call here, Reeta. My last thing is there anything out there that you think is the one thing that everybody should know about the core, whether you're a student or you're not? How do we wrap this up and say, hey, we are the women behind the man. This is what we've learned. This is how we've got to where we are. Closing thoughts.
I think the biggest impact for me in my careers have been, my first career was actually in restaurant management, and I had great mentors which fast tracked me through working for Steak and Ale and TGI Fridays. And then as soon as I got into real estate, the first thing I did was find a coach. I mean, I knew that would help me. I wanted to learn as much as I could and move as fast as I could through growing my career. So from my first coach, Joe Stump, and that's where I met Rick, and then opportunities arise out of that. So I would say you got to have a coach, especially as we go into such a market with so many variables in it. You need guidance and direction. Not only that, but you need a community around you. I look at the core as like the ultimate office. Everybody is there to not just help you, but to also give you a kick if you're like not getting it done, because they know you can do it. So they're inspiring. And the other thing would be surrender quickly. Okay. Because that goes back to the mindset. And it's funny because when we started the core, we kind of knew what we were getting into, and Rick would coach Kathy and I at this, on the same call. And we struggled with the P&L and personal budgets, like all of you do. And the more we fought it, or we need to do this, we had all these arguments with Rick in the beginning. We finally said, okay, surrender, and everything changed. So surrender quickly and find a coach. The core is the place to be if you want to change your business and change your life. And you have an amazing person running our real estate division, Ms. Kendra Cook. So you're in great hands, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Reeta. So as we wrap up, I think the biggest things that we took away today is have a coach, follow the plan, surrender quickly, don't be afraid to fail, stop thinking about it and get in your own way. Just make the call, just do the dang thing. That's what I'm going to say. Just do the dang thing. Whatever the dang thing is, it's going to help you change your business. So as we wrap up, thank you, Mrs. Reeta Casey. We love you. She's our rock here. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope you are enjoying this Women in Business, this series that we're doing. And if you know somebody who needs to be in the core, give us a call, 1-800-660-6670. Make it a great day. Thanks, Reeta.
Thank you, Kendra. Love you, girl.